Watch how quickly this rendering moves from basic wireframe to complete photorealism. In the time it takes you to blink, algorithms are generating outputs at a volume that simply outpaces human iteration. If the technical work required to produce an image like this drops to zero, how do we measure its value? For decades, creativity was defined by friction. An artist spent years learning the nuances of a physical lens, or thousands of hours mastering complex post-production software. The barrier to entry was the labor of the execution itself. Generative AI removes that friction. Because software now handles the mechanics of the craft instantly, our traditional metrics for measuring art, technique, and effort have become unreliable. This chart tracks production cost against the volume of content hitting the market. As cost approaches zero, the volume of high-fidelity media explodes. This is aesthetic inflation. Cinematic quality is no longer a luxury. It is the baseline standard. The economic consequences are being measured. UNESCO data shows creators could see revenues fall by 20% as synthetic content floods the market. A single creator armed with open-source models can now generate the same output volume as a large legacy agency. The traditional competitive moats, headcount, render farms, and expensive specialized equipment have evaporated. In this environment, a large budget no longer guarantees a superior product. It simply buys you the same technical render quality available to anyone with a consumer laptop. When technical execution becomes a cheap commodity, clinging to manual production is a path to margin erosion. If everyone can produce perfect visuals, perfection itself is no longer a differentiator. This structural collapse is redrawing the map of creative labor. The old model was linear: ideation, then production, then post. Today, that timeline has collapsed into a single, high-speed, circular iterative cycle. This shift allows creators to kill the drawer. Instead of filing away bold or difficult ideas because they cost too much to test, teams can visualize and prototype them in real time. These prototypes aren't rough sketches. They feature pristine cinematic lighting, deep color grading, and hyper-real textures generated straight off the shelf. The delay between wondering, what if we tried this, and seeing the finished visual proof has shrunk from weeks to hours. Because technical polish is now an abundant commodity, it is no longer the metric for success. The only remaining scarcity is the originality of the idea itself. This environment has created a new role, the AI Auteur. This is a strategic leader who relies on unique vision and taste to direct AI rather than executing the manual labor. In film, an auteur is a director like Wes Anderson, whose visual language is so distinct that they are considered the true author of the work, regardless of who operated the camera or edited the scenes. The modern craft is translating those inner vibes and intuitions into precise, structural language. The skill is no longer moving pixels, but prompting the system to capture a specific feeling. When a machine can offer infinite variations of a single idea, the most critical skill for the creator becomes discernment. It is the judgment to look at 1,000 options and know which one is right. AI doesn't create talent, it magnifies it. It instantly exposes a weak idea, but it elevates visionaries. This ability to direct the algorithm toward a meaningful outcome is the most valuable asset in the 2026 market. Managing this infinite workflow is impossible if you're constantly switching between a fragmented stack of isolated apps for video, audio, and text. This is driving the move toward unified infrastructure. Instead of apps sitting on top of separate servers, tools are moving to a centralized hub. The individual applications are being replaced by environments where every tool shares the same foundational models. Platforms like Talonsight enable this workflow. An image created in one terminal shares its visual data with the audio node instantly, allowing an AI auteur to work across multiple domains inside a single command center. This shift reorients the creator's role. They are no longer an isolated artisan working on one piece of the puzzle. They are the orchestrator of an entire digital ecosystem. To operate at AI speed, upgrading your software isn't enough. You have to adopt a unified infrastructure that allows you to direct the technology rather than be led by it. But there is a paradox in this era of automation. Because algorithms are trained on existing patterns, they inevitably converge on the mean. This leads to homogenized styles and diluted identities. Cutting through synthetic noise requires a start here, human philosophy. In a world of digital polish, the audience stops looking at pixels and starts looking for a reason to trust the source. This means strategically embracing imperfection. In an age of algorithmic perfection, showing the messy, unscripted human process becomes your strongest credibility cue. AI can generate anything, but it cannot decide what is true or what matters. That remains the sole domain of the human auteur.